G'day guys, how are you? I hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing a review of an anthology of very dark films. So they're dark comedy from Argentina, spoken in the Spanish language with English subs, released in the year 2014, directed by Damien Civron, and this movie is called Wild Tales. So Wild Tales, as I said, consists of 6 short films about distressed people and the pressures of society, and it really is an indication of what society has become, especially in Argentina. So the first story is about this group of friends who have been secretly taken to a destination they don't know about on an aeroplane. The second story is about this gangster on a very rainy night, and the person serving him has a connection with this gangster. The third story is about a road rage incident that gets way out of control. The fourth story is about a man who is sick to death of the tow truck company. His car is towed away time and time again. He thinks that he hasn't done anything wrong, and he goes to boiling point. The fifth story is about a guy who hits this pregnant woman, and he is now on the run. It's a hit and run case, and they're trying to defend him. They're trying to make deals with the other person's lawyer, and then things go very bad at the end. The sixth story is a wedding, and so this wedding is unlike any other wedding you've ever seen before. So they are the 6 stories. I'm not going to give anything else away on them. As I said, they're about distressed people, they're about distressing situations and how we deal with things once it gets all a little bit too much. So if you want to know how these 6 stories unfold, please go out there and see this film for yourself. Now my thoughts on Wild Tales. This movie comes with a lot of hype. A lot of people say that it should have won the Oscars. A lot of people saying this is what sets Argentina apart from the rest of Latin America as far as filmmaking is concerned, that it's brilliant, that it's a masterpiece of the dark comedy genre. So all of that aside, I was trying to go into this with limited expectations, although it's near impossible to do that because of what everyone's saying. And I can say at the end of this film, it is a very good movie, but unfortunately there are a few things that prevent it from being the masterpiece that a lot of people are saying. So to start off with, it is about distressing situations. It's a commentary on society, especially in Argentina. There are a few things that happen here in Argentina that are a little bit unfair. And even I, get sick of it sometimes. And I can understand these people and these stories coming to the point that they come to. And so I think that, yes, it is a very smart sort of dark comedy. It's very entertaining. It's very funny. I think it was very well written, very well acted. The cinematography was excellent. There were very funny moments, as I said, very shocking moments. So it does fit the dark comedy genre very, very well. But then on top of that, it does have the social commentary. It's the things that are wrong with not only Argentina, but other countries as well. There are things that we deem as unfair, and we think to ourselves, oh, I'm going to kill everybody. And this movie, it does go to that level that we dare not go to. And that's the beauty of it. That's why it's so entertaining, is that, yes, you're kind of living out your fantasies. If you've had your car towed away, or you've got a parking ticket and you feel so angry and you think to yourself, I'm going to kill that guy, but you don't really mean it. But this movie, it goes to that level. It goes to the level of beyond return. You've gone to a level where you can't really make things better again. So it is a movie about distressed people coming to the boiling point. And it's both shocking and very, very funny. So the best stories in the movie are the aeroplane story at the start and the road rage incident. They were by far my favourite. I think the road rage is the best. But having said that, there are other stories that are pretty well done. The hit and run story, and also the story of the gangster. But unfortunately, this is where my problem with the film comes along, is that it has really good punchlines for the aeroplane story and the road rage incident, and to some extent the hit and run and the gangster. But the other stories, it feels like they're coming to a point where you think this is going to be really rewarding, and then it doesn't. It falls flat a little bit. And you can't help but think to yourself, that was a little bit disappointing. If only they took the path that the other stories took that made them so good. So as is the case with a lot of anthology films, you've got some stories that are better than others. And unfortunately, the other stories that don't quite live up to the others, the good stories, they could have been really good. But it feels like the director has released the pressure valve. He's taken the hand away from the throat, and he's letting you breathe a little bit. And that to me was the problem, especially the very last one with the wedding. I thought that had grounds to be a really crushing sort of story, but I felt that he released the pressure valve right at the end, and it was funny, and it was really well done, but it wasn't as shocking. And I think that if the director took a different path, it would have been a lot better. So, as is the case with so many other anthology films, you've got some stories that are better than others, and unfortunately the stories that aren't as good really could have been really, really good. Another big plus to the film is that it knows exactly what it wants to be. Damien Zifron does a good job at telling short stories. Now, what I mean by that, you've got some other anthology films, especially VHS 2. Now, what I mean by that is that the middle segment, Safe Haven, a lot of people were saying, oh, if only that was made into a feature film. I wanted to know more about that story. And there are other stories in that sort of franchise, the VHS franchise, where you think to yourself, I would have liked to have known a little bit more. So it doesn't feel like so much a short story. It actually feels like a feature-length film that has been watered down, that has been cut down to meet the standards of a short story. So I don't think that really understands what a short story is, but Damien Zifron in this movie, Wild Tales, I think he nails what a short story is, because you get to the basics and the story is told, and then right at the end you feel to yourself, I don't need to know more. I actually feel like I have been rewarded with a story that has been told in whatever, how long it takes. So the overall feature is 2 hours long, but I'm not quite sure how much each segment is, but they are very short, and you feel at the end, you feel that you don't need this movie to be made into a feature-length film, because you feel it's got everything done within that certain time frame. So Damien Zifron really nails what it is about a short story. You don't feel that, the road race segment, my favourite segment, I don't feel that this should have been made into a feature film, because it was perfect just the way it was. So Damien Zifron really understands what it is to tell a short story. You get the idea of the characters very quickly, and then you get to the punchline, and then it finishes. So you don't get time to develop characters, and this is the mistake of other films, as I just said, VHS 2 in particular, with the Safe Haven segment. You feel that you wanted it to expand on more areas, so it didn't feel like a short film, it felt like a feature film trapped within a short film. But as the Damien Zifron, he stays clear of this. It shows that he really knows his stuff as far as anthology is concerned. I would have liked a tie-around segment. What I mean by that is that you get a lot of anthologies where one story is in between the other story, so it ties it all together, whereas Wild Tales doesn't really do that. It's not a negative, but I think it would have been a little bit better if it actually tied it together, because it just feels like 6 separate films about distressed people, about a commentary on society, but it doesn't feel like it connects all together. It just feels like 6 stories told. It's not a big criticism. It didn't take anything out of the film for me, but I just thought it needed to tie up some loose ends. It needed to polish up a little bit as far as connecting it all together. But having said that, that is a nitpick. No film is perfect, but I think this film had slight improvements that would have made it a masterpiece. So overall, cinematography is excellent. It captures the dark side of humanity. That fantasy of, if you go that extra step that none of us dare to do. The script is really well done. Ricardo Darín, he stars in the film, as is the case with a lot of other Argentinian actors. And overall, what you get is a very enjoyable, very dark anthology film about distressed people. If this seems like that's something you would enjoy, definitely go out to see it. There are stories that will really shock you, especially the road rage one, and it will also make you laugh as well. So it is a very good film. It's not a masterpiece, but it's still coming recommended. So overall, for Wild Tales, I'm going to give it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. Alright guys, that's my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.